All right, and we are live. We're good. We are on the internets, just you and me, Mr. Tofurkey, talking about Dota. So maybe just a little bit of background. So both Tofurkey and I here, we used to play Dota a lot. Tofurkey way more than me. I think you're over 2,000 hours in Dota, aren't you?
Yeah, but a lot of that's bots. I
but
mean, I'm
but
not gonna. Yeah, I
hang on a
can't
second.
hide from that.
But by bots, do you mean playing against bots or that you're botting?
Oh no, no, definitely not botting. I never did that. I played against bots. I started off like that. I got too timid against players, or more so, just hid the feeling of losing.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I've racked up 2,100 hours. Here, let me pull you up here. Wow, you haven't played Dota in so long. It's not even showing on your games.
No,
It's
it
been
has been a really long time since I played.
it has been, and I think
Not. It hasn't been a year though, has it? I don't
no,
think it's been
no,
a year.
it's been we stopped playing in about mid December, mid to late December, kind of around the holiday when the holidays came up.
It was
And
shortly. It was shortly after uh, the patch 7 came out, probably a couple of months after that.
about so I mean, I personally I haven't launched Dota yet this year, and really one of the main reasons for that is, I mean, it has to do with kind of the how cancerous the player base is. And I know it sucks to say that because I mean I've I've played quite a few, I've played 2,000 plus hours in Dota. I've actually spent quite a bit of actual money in
Money?
Dota.
Yeah,
Enough.
yeah, I hear you on that one.
I am, they look at, when with free to play games, they always talk about, the whale. I'm considered to be a whale in the Dota world simply because, well, I spend a lot of money in the game and a lot of money. I bought
You'd be the white whale.
the white whale. That's right. I'm fucking a white whale. Wait. Wait, that's no. But I mean,
Wow.
like, to put it into context, I mean, I bought my way to my Aegis eyelash, so it kind of disillusioning when having to kind of leave a game and back to it. Really sucks when that happens. But the reason why I kind of wanted to that I'm throw up this live stream is because the Valve announced this matchmaking update, and it's actually very interesting. I really like the looks of it, from what I've read about it. And just kind of want to maybe kind of discuss it with you because you're kind of more of even though we have the same play rate, you're actually more of a seasoned player than I am. You played Dota 1 quite a bit, right?
Actually, I didn't play Dota 1 at all. I bought Warcraft because a friend of mine played it, and I thought, oh, this looks cool. I'll get into it. But I'm absolutely crap at any of those types of games. Any of those like Command and Conquer, StarCraft, Warcraft types of games, I am crap at. And then my buddy got into playing the Defense of the Ancients, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. I'll play that. And I got into that for about a month before I sold the game to his brother. And then it wasn't until I think League that I started getting into MOBAs, and um, and I liked League. It's a lot of fun, and it's really kind of I felt more of a casual game. There's definitely some causticity in there as well, but um, I came from that, and the same buddy moved me, um, convinced me to come back into Defense of the Ancients in the form of Dota 2, and it turned out like a huge learning curve, and then I got really into it, and it was it was fun for the challenge. Like it was definitely a lot of learning to do, and then once you got into it, it was really highs and lows of some good games, some bad games, and a lot of it depended on who you were playing with and then who you're playing against.
Yeah, and I mean, I know when you and Creepy got me in really into it. I mean, you guys mentored me quite a bit. So I mean, that was back, quite a few years ago now. But let's kind of fast forward to um, kind of this matchmaking update, and I know it touches on some of the reasons that you and I actually quit playing Dota, and who knows, this is actually. I know that the other issue was really the 7.0 patch, making it feel more like League of Legends and less like Dota. But the other half, I think, was really the matchmaking pieces. So let's maybe kind of go through a couple of things, and really what we're doing is, for anybody that's watching, is we're really talking about this from the context of the average player, not necessarily at the pro level, not overly horrible, though. I'd like to say I'm pretty horrible. We're in the 2 to 3K range, which a lot of people, where a lot of people tends to really tend to fall. And there's a lot of pieces here that I think are really relevant to players at our skill level. So let's kind of go through this. So really they're focusing on the restoration of solo queue, the addition of phone linking, and a few other adjustments. Now this link phone number thing is really is really interesting to me, because one of the things that I've kind of noticed in ranked matchmaking has to do really with how frustrating games can get, where you'll constantly find people boosting, and not so much botting really, but like a lot of boosting games. So I'm not sure how well that's gonna combat it. It might not combat it entirely, but the fact that you have to actually have a registered phone number against your account in order to play ranked matches. Like, what do you think about that, Tofurkey?
I think that I don't know, like for security purposes, I understand it, and that makes sense. But for having your phone number connected to that, just against multiple accounts, I can see where they're coming at with that. If the botting is such a big issue, which I haven't been playing enough to really notice. I haven't been playing at all to notice it. So I don't know if it's a new thing or if it's a reoccurring thing. But I think it's a method they could use to counteract that for sure.
Well, I can kind of speak to the botting thing a little bit, because I have been following it on Reddit over the last about year or so, and what usually happens is that and it kind of goes to a bit later on, where they talk about removing ranked matchmaking from a few countries, or from a few regions, is they queue up a whole bunch of bots all at one time in an area, in a language that they know there's a high chance of them all being in the same game. And really what they do is they focus on one account or one side to win, so that way it will up their rank, their MMR. And then what happens is that they go and they sell them. So that's how that's how people go out and they buy like a 4K account or 5K account or something like that, because they're going out and they're actually these automated processes are just, all they're doing is they're going up, and up, and then they're selling the account off, and then all it does is it ruins the experience for these people at higher MMRs, but it also really it contributes to like the cancerous gameplay, because you get people that are they're going, oh yeah, I'm really a 5K player, but I'm stuck in 1K or something like that. It's like, no, you're a 1K player. Right?
Yeah.
You're really a 1K, player.
Yeah, I think it was up to 3, and I ended up dropping down to like between 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think what the linked phone number thing does is it really keeps the ranked matchmaking honest. I think it's going to have a byproduct of making the unranked matchmaking to be a bit crazy, but it does mean that people who go to play ranked, they're going on purpose. They go for a reason to play ranked. They go to try to play games seriously, and not necessarily deal with a lot of bull crap. And it's really difficult to do that when for instance, you have a pro player who decides to pick up a to smurf on an account to for just to kind of piss a lot of people off. I mean, we've been at the receiving end of Smurfs, and,
Hmm.
and it sucks. It really sucks. Um,
There's I have mixed feelings with Smurf. Like I understand where they're coming from. Where if you're playing, you get to the higher end point where you kind of hit like your personal cap for level and what you can do, and your how far you're able to hit. Without investing a great deal more time in that. And the idea of making like a small sort of casual usable account that you can play against like really easy players and beat them easily. I can understand the draw to that. I'll not deny that I've done it in previous games briefly. I haven't made a like long term deal of it,
mhm.
uh, but it's kind of like it loses its zeal quickly because it's just there is no challenge to it. It's if you want really shallow victories, then yeah, the greater victories definitely when you're playing in your skill level and you beat someone or you beat a team that gave you a challenge and it wasn't just a full steamroll. That's like we've had a couple of those games where we both came back and we're just like, oh my God, that was good. Like, like you're applauding the other team for how well they played.
Yeah, like hard fought wins and hard fought losses are great. I hate being on either end of a steamroll.
Yeah.
And and really like unranked, yeah, that'll happen, right? And we kind of expect that unranked matchmaking is, it's garbage, it's trash,
Yeah.
ultimately. But in ranked, it's you kind of expect to be teamed up against people, who are closer to your skill level and where it's actually competitive. Like people say, oh well, if you're a 1K player, you want to play against a 6K because that's competitive. It's like no, that's stupid. That's that's not
Yeah.
that's not competitive. Competitive is being against somebody who is relatively close to your skill level.
Mhm.
But
And I don't understand the whole, aside from having sort of like a posterity thing of having like this high, K account, it doesn't make sense. You're not going to be able to really enjoy the game when you're playing, if you buy an account that's high up. I just I can't buy into the whole purchasing account mentality. I'll never understand that. You haven't worked for it, you haven't earned it, and you're basically throwing yourself into the deep pool with like imaginary water wings.
mhm.
You're not going to be, you're just going to end up losing a lot or having or drawing your team down, and that's no fun for them. So if this is going to help with that,
Your microphone just went.
sorry, if this is going to help with that, then I'm kind of for it. I don't like the idea of having to attach my phone number to it, just as a matter of principle.
Right, but I mean, it's not like they're gonna. It's not a public. It's not a. It's not the phone number is not publicly visible.
Yeah,
It's basically it's a method of identity verification
absolutely.
on Valve's part, and a lot of games like there are games that do that, and I kind of I like the idea as long as they're not obviously using it for other purposes, which I don't think they do. They don't they can't do they really can't start doing unsolicited calls, and really if you're buying things with a credit card um, on Steam, you've registered your phone number with Steam, so they already have it.
Yeah.
Um, so let's kind of move on here. So playing players using multiple accounts, yeah, playing players using multiple accounts create a negative matchmaking experience at all skill brackets. So and you're right. We've been talking about that.
Hmm.
So our goal is to add just enough friction so that the number of players in it will be noticeably reduced. See, here's a key. They know they're not going to eliminate it. And
Yeah.
it's not possible. Like there's things that people can do to get around it. They can go buy like a burner phone or something like that. If they're really really adamant on doing it, they'll find a way. But so at least they're being realistic here.
Oh
Um,
yeah, you can. I mean, I'm sure they could just ask one of the multiple friends, hey man, can I use your number for this? Or if they got the friend's phone number in their phone, they'll just use it.
don't forget a lot of Dota players aren't our age, so they still live with their parents. So they'll
They
be
gotta
like,
still have people like, but I mean, like the cell phone, like people live by their cell phones nowadays,
"Mhm,
and you need other people's phone numbers to connect with them. A lot of services use that.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So, you can just easily, they can use any one of those phone numbers just to be like, oh, well, I can't use mine. I can use one of these. And then, it's still a massive resource for them to use.
Hmm. Yeah, and so saying here that they've got positive accounts on both ranked, positive effect on both ranked and unranked. I agree with them with the ranked side. I disagree with them on the unranked side. It's going to push a lot of these people that are running Smurfs and running multiple other accounts. It's going to push them to unranked. That's what's going to happen. So unranked is going to become more chaotic. There's going to be more cancer there, and the good thing
At
is
the
there'll
low
be
levels.
less at the low levels, and there'll be less cancer in rank. So at our level, it's going to get a little bit more chaotic.
It's literally going to be the breeding pool of, yeah, the swamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So for people at our level, this is kind of a double-edged sword. It's fantastic if we want to play ranked, but if we're going to play unranked, well, we're screwed. Well, not really screwed, but
When
you
you
get
go
what
through when you go through your first matches, hope that you get high.
Exactly. Hopefully you
Yeah.
calibrate at 4K or something like that, and that way at least it's it's reasonable. It's not too bad to kind of. So let's continue. So there'll be a 2-week grace period from today, during which all players will have time to register their phone number. Starting 4th, they'll count their registration, no longer be eligible to play. Okay, so they're giving some adjustment time. This does mean that we're probably going to have to actually load Dota and make sure that we're good if we wanted to.
Yeah,
I don't know.
actually.
It's a principle thing. Like, I don't want to load Dota until I'm ready to play it again, just so I can get a realistic count of how long I've
Well,
been away
except
from
that,
it.
I don't know. Accounts without a registered number will no longer be eligible for ranked play. That's not going to matter too much for us, but probably something we should just kind of update
Yeah.
so that accounts are still functional and all those wonderful, wonderful skins for Crystal Maiden won't disappear.
No, I don't want to lose my crystal. I don't want to lose my CM skins. I really don't.
No.
Um, all right. So then we got so this is what I like here. So if a phone number is removed from an account after it's been registered, you can add a new number, but there'll be a 3-month waiting period before the removed number can be registered somewhere else.
I think some people are gonna get hoodwinked on this. Like some buyers are gonna get caught out on that.
Oh yeah, that's what's gonna happen is people are gonna
Yeah.
be buying accounts. Well, no, not because someone can still buy an account and still register their number on that account as long as they haven't registered that number on another. So what it does prevent is if somebody has already registered their phone number on one account and they decide to do something really stupid in the form of buying an account, then they have like a 3-month period where they can't
Oh,
register it,
okay. So
right?
I misread it as being like a 3-month wait both ways. So if you use a new phone number on an account, you have to wait 3 months, and and the number that was removed will have to wait 3 months. So
Nope.
I
No,
gotcha.
no, it's just for the number that was registered.
Yeah.
So for instance, if I change my phone number, which I recently did because I got rid of my house line and I don't have my cell phone now. And if I had my home line registered to my account, I could deregister that number, register my cell phone number, and still be okay.
Oh, a
Uh,
what?
a what? Yeah, what?
What's a landline?
What's a landline? Hey, I'm showing my age here. To all you youngins, to all you people that are in their mid-20s and younger, there used to be a fantastic thing called a landline attached, where the phone was actually attached to a cable.
Back in my day, we used to have to spin a wheel to
When
call somebody.
when I was your age, Pluto was a planet.
Yeah. All right.
I say that way too much. So let's move on here. Let's talk about solo queue. So with the return of solo queue, solo players who enter ranked matchmaking can now choose to match only with other solo players. This is huge. This is really, really huge. And
How many times have you sat there and been like the fifth man, or the fourth man from like a 3-man team going in something, and it's just like,
well, that's not so bad. But what's really bad is when you are the 5 randoms against a 4 stack, and 1 random, because that happens, right?
yeah.
Or the early, there's a 2 stack and then 3 randoms against a 3 stack and a 2 stack. So there's kind of reasonable.
I think this has potential to for people who do this and like those individuals who just they like to play the game. They are not really like have a bunch of friends or team players, but
Oh, so me, in other words.
well, I think it'll have the opportunity where people can kind of meet other unique players and make more friends who are like-minded and want to team up, and also players who just kind of like to do their own thing. They'll be able to jump into rank matchmaking and know that they've, kind of on an even ground, and their skills, their own skills, are gonna pull them through.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's right. Like they are the lone wolf, and they want to meet up with some other lone wolves to kind of kill some people, or
Basically, right?
yeah. And I mean, I like this because that way, all you are doing is you're only queuing against complete randoms, then opposed to being, you said, being the the fifth person in a two couple orgy type thing.
Yeah, really. I mean, you get to hold the camera. It's not that fun.
That's right. So let's talk about party changes then. So starting today, if a player's solo MMR is higher than their party MMR, queuing in a party will result in the matchmakers assigning a higher MMR to that player. Effectively, these players will search for a match as if their MMR were halfway between the solo and party MMR values. This is actually a really, really nice
Oh,
idea.
interesting. Because
And
I know with our party MMR dropped really fast,
Mhm.
and yet solo MMR was quite a bit higher.
Well, for people at our level, right? Like we aren't always teaming up with the same people, and
Hmm.
when we do team up, we're always teaming up with people that are usually better than us. And what that results in, and Purge actually talked about it on one of his videos quite some time ago. So it's actually really worth the watch. Is they is he kind of mentioned the fact that if you're a really low MMR player and you're playing with a bunch of really high MMR players, you're actually dragging them all down, and you will more often than not lose as a result. And this is and that's why, like, there's always a quite the disparity between between party MMR and solo MMR, because when you're by yourself, you're doing solo ranked, you are matched against people right at your skill level. So there's a better chance for you to for you to win a match and be able to progress. Whereas if you're like me, a 2K player, and you're teamed up with people 4 or 5K, like basically Cake.avi's and his buddies, who they're 4 or 5K,
Hmm.
and Chucky and the like, right? And all that happens is you make a bunch of mistakes, you get caught out, you're bad, have bad positioning, get yelled at, GG noob uninstall, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that just knocks your party MMR down. But then you go play by yourself, and you're doing fantastic, you're winning like crazy, or
Yeah, yeah, because
reasonably
you're
so, right?
playing people, closer to your MMR rank, and so you're able to actually, those mistakes that you make, that you're still learning are forgivable.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And like what they say here, so the what the current state was, or what the previous state was really that it was resulting in a very unpleasant experience, for an unpleasant experience really for both teams, because you're fighting within your team, you're probably going to get tilted, someone's going to get tilted, and that then turns into,
No.
I'm just gonna sit and, well, fuck all y'all, that kind of stuff, right? So I like this. I like this. I like this change. This is actually really good. Uh,
Yeah.
Simply having an even chance to win over the long run does not necessarily correlate to having competitive matches. But this change will make it so that the matchmaker is able to take into account both the party teamwork skill component and the individual capability of the player on both teams. See, that's very good. That's good that they can wrap that in. I really like it. With both teams having the same mechanic applied to them, the chance for each team to win over a large sample will still be the same as before, but with the reduced volatility on a per match basis, and that's good. That's good. I will say that I think this is still assuming that you're partying up with the same people every time. Which, let's face it, people at our skill level, we're not partying up with the same people all the time. So there is a bit of an assumption here on Valve's part, I think.
Um, yeah, but I think like the whole concept of the game too is, to be making those parties, and it's a team-based game, so it's kind of the idea is to push you into a team environment, so you have a group of people that you're playing more regularly with. I, I absolutely agree though with you on the respect that lower end people aren't generally going to have a full team that they're always playing with.
Hmm.
It's going to be probably, I don't know. I'm shooting that dark here, but 2 or 3 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to matchmaking behavior. So the update also includes several changes intended to remove the undesirable behavior from the matchmaking pool. So this is just for you and your disconnects.
I've never done this.
No, 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 never. You have never you have never raged. You know that you have never had salt.
I gotta say, I was definitely raging a lot more towards the end of our plays than sort of like the beginning and midways. And I'd say it was definitely one of the tipping points to why I left.
Oh yeah, same with me. Like I was tired of going to bed angry.
Yeah. Like, and you know what? A lot of that was for the matchmaking. Like we were just like we literally watched our MMR go from the 3000s down to 2000, and we were sitting around there like you jokingly put up, when you were streaming, like road to 1K MMR, 1 MMR, and it's like, we were actually dropping down.
Oh
we
yeah.
were we were having more losses than wins, and I think the last time we had a win streak was about 5 games, and leading up to that, we had maybe uh, a couple of games in a row that we won amongst all the losses.
Oh yeah, and I'll say that my when I stopped playing, um, my party MMR was 1.9K, and my team MMR or my solo MMR was about 2.3, 2.4. So I mean, I watched my party MMR just slip and slip and slip and slip, and
Yeah,
it sucked. It really did.
yeah.
So yeah. So that's kind of let's talk about matching. So first, being marked for low priority matches now results in a duration based ban from rank queue in addition to the current game count based ban. So not only do you have to win your required matches to get out of low prio, but there is also a time limit. So this actually kind of like mimics MechWarrior Online in a way. I mean, I'm pretty sure they didn't take anything from it, but like when you do like a lot of team damage in MWO, or you accidentally TK somebody, you get like the countdown timer, and it's a
I have
short.
yet to do that.
No, you've never done that. Um, and it's it's a nice idea. And actually, watching Purge's video earlier, apparently there were services that you could pay to get your account in some botting games in order to get out of in order to satisfy the low prio requirement.
Hmm.
You would pay you would pay your ducats. They would go into it would take it would set whatever region and language requirement to get to a predictable server, and just win your game for you. So now you still have to wait. Now
And
there
this is again attacking the whole botting issue.
it is, yeah. It's attacking the people that are just trying to kind of they're trying to they're gaming the system,
Yep.
um, or which just essentially ruins it for everybody.
Yep.
So I love that the the ban will start at a low threshold of a few hours.
Oh, jeez. So, yeah, GG, uninstall.
Yeah, GG uninstall. But this is for ranked queue. A duration, so it's a duration based ban from rank queue.
Hmm.
Plus, on top of that, there is the in game game count. So even if
Yep.
you win your games, get out of low prio, you can get out of low prio for unranked. This is what my
Now, the
perception
only
is.
and it's a small percentage, but I have actually managed to book my way into that percentage at least twice. Is the whole like if you have internet failure, something like that, like the system comps out, partway through, you're still going to get dropped into that, and that's going to be a pain for them.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm not sure if they're improving the detection on that or not.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it can be it can be a bit dicey sometimes for that for sure. So next, it should go without saying that while the wide variety of playstyles that Dota players bring to a given match will always be welcome, intentionally ruining games for other players is never condoned. To help address concerns in this area, we've also added better detection for clear cases of intentional feeding, and will be applying stricter punishments to those who violate this rule.
Excellent.
So this is good. So this is I'm just gonna march myself down mid lane and
Yep.
just suicide at the tower kind of thing, or take him on 1v5 with a level 2 Crystal Maiden at 40 minutes into the game.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
No,
So
I think I think that's pretty decent. Like that's, even with what I brought up with the, people having disconnections and that stuff, I think this is gonna be a harsher and a more, a larger detriment to people who are intentionally going out of their way to just ruin the game for others. And that's with, just quitting out. If you're gonna play, you set yourself up to play for that time, and you have to understand that the game takes a good 30 to 45 minutes for an average game, and lock yourself into that. If it's a poor game, change up your style, work on your mechanics more, and I think that rather than just quit out.
yeah, totally. It's gonna punish you if you tilt, and well, not if you tilt,
Yeah.
but if you just get rage and do a full rage quit, you're gonna feel that punishment for sure.
Yeah.
So it's finally this is huge. This part I think is the nail in the coffin for a lot of botters. So finally we've added detection for users that are botting, and with this update have issued a permanent ban to a large number of recently detected bot accounts. This should
Wow.
help resolve several areas in which these bot accounts have a negative impact on the experience of the community. Yeah, so that's it's an indirect thing. It's really not playing against the bots themselves. It is the proceeds of those bot accounts when somebody goes and buys one of these accounts. And then there's some regional changes. So this is interesting, and again, this is all focusing on botting. So ranked matchmaking will no longer be available in South Africa, India, and Dubai. We will
I didn't
update.
realize it was such a huge issue there.
What it is they don't have a large player base. So
Yeah.
from what I understand of botting, they will queue up in these regions.
Yeah.
So that way, it's very likely that they're going to that they're going to be matched against each other.
Clever girl.
So that's one of the reasons why we'll update these servers as the unranked populations in these regions grow to the critical mass needed to be able to support splitting the user base into ranked and unranked. While there are some players that use these servers for ranked, the low populations made them prime targets for various rank matchmaking abuses. So that's the botting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For the time being, these players in these regions will have the need to join ranked matchmaking queues in one of the other nearby supported servers. So yeah, that's a really big really big kind of botting change for people that are stupid enough to do bots.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, like, what do you think of this of this patch? I mean, I know 7.0 has been kind of rough and kind of
Well,
not very
Bob,
good.
I yeah, since 7.0 since 7.8 came out, I haven't been as invested into the game personally. And I gotta say, it sounds like a lot of good things. A lot of hard uh, ban hammers to some of the bigger issues within the game, outside of like just the game mechanics. So that I'm personally against. So I think for the players who are still in it and still love it and are trying to enjoy themselves, this will be a good step, good direction for the little guys. To really kind of stay playing and having a good match.
So now the kind of the hard question then is: do you think that this update, these changes to matchmaking, these kind of the attempt to address the cancer, or at least some of the cancer, Dota, do you think this is going to make make you willing to look at it again. Because I mean, we played 7.0 at 7.0, and I think they're at 7.04, or something along those lines. So that there has been a few updates that have been done to Dota since we stopped playing, some major ones.
Yeah.
There's been some balance runs. There's been some minor updates. There's been some item tweaks. So
I've
this
seen
one's
some
major.
items have been added and all that sort of thing too. I I might be willing to give it a shot for a game or two, but I don't know if I could be fully invested into it. I think my own opinions rely too much on the changes that happened with 7.0 and how just the game in itself changed from being, in my regard, what Dota was to more of like a more like handheld version of it. Um, and maybe that's them just trying to, maybe it's just for them trying to widen their player base further. But I think I might try a few games, but I don't know if it's enough to draw me fully back in.
Okay, well we'll have to do some games at some point. Maybe we'll throw them up on the stream and talk about our impressions as we're playing it or as we're yelling at each other, whatever the case may be.
I think we'll have a pretty solid answer if we end up raging out again.
That is very true. Very true. All right. Well, Tofurkey, thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
It's good to sit down and chat about this. I hope to do more live streams like this for patch analysis on games that thing. Maybe we'll do the same thing for the next MechWarrior Online patch comes out. There's already been there was the big one that was released yesterday and a hot fix for it today. So yeah, we'll talk about these more for games that we care about, and really give give you the average Joe version of what the opinions of the patches are, because we're not pro players.
We are average.
we
We
are
are we are as average as it gets.
we're probably below average. Or at
No,
least
no, no. I wouldn't say what.
I'm below average.
No. You're good. You're actually really good. You're good at calling things out, and you have a lot of like the kind of intrinsic mechanics going for it. So, but you know what? I'm down for this. I would be happy to do some more patch chats.
All right. Well, sounds good. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a wonderful evening and have fun playing Dota.
Take care.